But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. When the woman at the well, without discipleship, when she had an encounter with Jesus by herself, Jesus didn't say go and call the rest. She ran. That means if you know God, it should do something to you. It has nothing to do with being an evangelist. You will be too grateful to be silent. Come see a man. She didn't even say come and see Jesus. Yet the force that was released from her conviction made people to say, this woman is not used to doing this. We better go and find out. But the people that do know their God, but the people that have met him enough to look at a family without rent and they say, look, let's leave this God. And they say, no, 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 rent is too small. I know God. I know God. I know God. But the people that do know their God, if we do not grow in this depth of certainty, many believers will stop coming to church in the future. Do you know why? Because we have all kinds of teachings loitering the internet and loitering everywhere, trying to demean Jesus. Are we together now? And I hope you know that many people have been successful, especially financially, without giving their lives to Christ. But I know whom I believe. It's important for the gospel to get to the ends of the earth, but we must stand from a standpoint of conviction. The average church member in many Christian circles has handed his life over to God, but does not know God. And I believe that it's been a burden in the heart of your pastor to use conferences like this to open us up to know. There are many of us in ministry here or called into ministry. It is important when life challenges you, it's your conviction that will answer back. It's true. It's true. That's the reason why you can see someone, for instance, serve the Lord for many years, even serve as a pastor in a church, and then later on you see him and say, this got in, we did it, oh. We did it and left it. You know, like elections. I was a senator, now I'm resting. And so they come and they make it look like you are just young. That's why. Keep doing this your God thing. Respectfully so, you see some of our old folks. They will tell you, when they see your zeal, they laugh and say, I remember 1960, we served God. Where didn't we preach? And now at that point, that man is sitting down as a traditionalist. No way. Not the God of heaven. Conviction based on the knowledge of God, based on the knowledge of God, based on the knowledge of God, that I can trust God. I know God is able to change my life. I'm not guessing. I'm not hoping. I'm speaking from a realm of persuasion. I may not have the evidence now to show, but I know this God. I know this God. If he says he's coming, he will come. If he says I should wait for him, I wait. Are we together? You believe people based on your knowledge of them. The fact that faith is anchored on something supernatural does not mean it does not have a basis. Faith is based on revelation. There is something about God. Listen, let me tell you this. If I tell you right now that I'm going to, I think I've used this example before. If I tell you I'm going to buy you a phone, the first thing you do is look at me and instinctively find out whether I have the ability to buy that phone. If you think I'm rich enough to buy a phone, you believe quickly. If I tell you I'll buy a plane, you say it is well. That it is well to mean, well, Apostle, I believe by faith, but I mean, I join you in that believing. I don't think that you have the money cash to buy me a plane. So when we doubt God, it's a message to him that God, I know you are seated in heaven, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm just using a polite way to tell you I don't believe you. So instead of verbalizing it, let my doubt speak to you that I'm not sure you can pay 250,000 naira. Are you that mighty? I'm not sure you are that powerful. And when a man looks at you, your boss looks at you and says, look, you will never rise in this office. There is something about God you know. that his name is also the Father of spirits. Every spirit is under his influence, so he can influence the heart of a king like he did Pharaoh. That the same boss that vowed to trouble you goes to bed. My brothers and my sisters, like Nebuchadnezzar, he would not be able to sleep. He will wake up in the morning and the first call is from him. It's okay, we give up, come for the promotion. And you are wondering, sir, are you all right? And then there is something about God that gives you that confidence. Not that you go home and quarrel your wife and quarrel everybody and they say, what is wrong? And you know, you start, no. Stability through knowledge. When men say there is a casting down, you are not just keeping quiet because you are depressed. Are you getting what I'm saying now? The knowledge of God gives value to faith. Otherwise, faith becomes like superstition. It becomes like a charm. Like you are concocting a charm and you are hoping it will work. Listen. You have studied the growth process of babies and children long enough. If you give birth to a child now, for some of us who have little babies now, what gives you the guarantee that that child will walk? The child has not walked, so you have faith that that child will walk. Is that true? But then there is a history. You have studied mankind long enough. You've had an encounter with this biological process, so that supports your faith. You know your child will walk. So you are not there anxiously watching and say, walk now. You can be patient and not even know when the child starts walking. Listen, the rate of high blood pressure, depression, and all of these kinds of psychological diseases, they are not a medical condition. They are the resultant effect of not knowing God. When you don't know God, you will worry. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't just say, I stop worrying just like that. No, there is something else that must give you confidence. I know God. I know him. I know him. I know him. I know that quarter to shame he can arise. I know. I know. I know. But you've been delayed. I know. I should have had 3 children now. I know. But I know that God can still give triplets and compress 8 years in 9 months. I know he can restore. So it gives me rest. My sister, there's one man. He's not exactly a man of God, but he's not a herbalist either. He can help you. And he said, no. I know. That knowledge gives you stability. Are we together now? Yes. Compromise is proof that you don't know God. That your knowledge of God has been exhausted and you have to outsource another support system. But the people, but the preachers, but the businessmen that do know their God, in Lagos they shall be strong. In Nigeria, they shall be strong. It didn't say, but the Yoruba people that know their God. It didn't say the Igbo people that do know their God. It didn't say the Hausa people that do know their God. It didn't say the Calabar people. It didn't even say the nationals that know their God. The people that do know their God. They shall be strong in any city, and they shall do exploits in any city. They shall be strong. Capacity.